Hi! Good day! My name is Emerson Manaliligamboa from IPED 2A. On this video, I am going to discuss my answer in the given question in Unit 3. So, let's start. The four essential components of closed-loop control system are: first, executive. It makes decision about corrective actions needed. Second, effector. It carries out those decisions. Third, feedback. Information about the actual state of the system. And lastly, fourth, comparator or error detection mechanism. Compares expected feedback from the desired state to actual feedback from the present state and relays any difference to the executive. So before we start the discussion, let's watch the video first to understand what is all about discussion for today.
This is the block diagram of an open loop system that we have already discussed in the previous lecture, and we know that the open loop systems are internally divided into two different sections. One is the controller section, which controls the amount of input that is required for the desired output, and the process section processes the input in order to generate the output. But the major disadvantage in case of the open loop systems is that it does not know when to stop, or it is not able to handle the disturbance. We took one example of an immersion water heater in the previous lecture, and we know that if we put the heating rod inside the water and we turn the switch on, then the immersion water heater starts heating the water, but it does not know when to stop heating. Or we can say that open loop system does not know your desired output, and that's why it goes on heating the water until you turn the switch off. So in order to maintain the desired output, we need to measure the output continuously, and we do it by using a feedback signal. In the closed loop systems, we can say the output is measured continuously and is fed back to the input, where the error with respect to the desired output is determined. We call this unit as the error detection unit. And then after that, the signal goes to the controller. The controller then controls the amount of input according to the desired response, and then the control input goes to the process section, and hence we get the desired output. And this time, the desired output is maintained. And in this way, the presence of feedback compensates for the disturbance, and it improves the accuracy of the system. An air conditioner is a very good example of a closed loop system. It continuously monitors the temperature inside the room, and accordingly, it turns off and starts over the compressor which is present outside the room. And in this way, it maintains the desired temperature. We can have one more example of a geyser. A geyser is a water heater, but here we can set the desired temperature. It continuously monitors the temperature of the water present inside, and it turns off and starts over again in order to maintain the desired temperature. Whenever the desired temperature is achieved, the geyser will turn off, and after some time, when the temperature decreases, it starts over again in order to maintain the temperature. So now we're done with the introductory portion of closed loop systems, and now we will have a comparison of open loop systems and the closed loop systems.
So in the video we watched, we can see the four essential components of the closed loop control system. So now, let's discuss first the executive. In our body, the brain is our control system, right? So in the four essential components, the executive is our brain or control system because it helps us to think and learn. So in the given scenario, the executive function is to help the child think about how or she or he start coloring the book. So dito sa executive is iniisip ng bata kung paano niya kukulayan ang book. The second one is effector. After we think about what we are going to do, the effector will come, or this is the next procedure that we are going to do or the action needed. So, for example, sa executive is alam na ng bata kung ano yung gagawin niya. Dito sa effector is iaak niya na kung ano ang naisip niya. So, kanina naisip niya kung paano niya kukulayan. Ngayon is iaak niya na kung paano ito gawin. So, ayon ang function ng effector. Iaak niya na ang kanyang naisip na gawin. So, the function of effector is to help the executive to do the task. The effector drives the feed-forward information to the system. Third is the feedback. In this scenario, the function of feedback is that the result of what the executive and effector did, or this will be the final output of the executive and effector. The reference to feedback simply means that some portion of the output is returned back to the input to form pair of the system's excitation. Feedback systems are used to control and regulate process. And lastly, fourth, comparator. The function of the comparator in the scenario is to compare whether what the executive and effector and feedback did was compatible or correct. In short, here we can see if the child did correctly what he had in mind and the actions he did. So, that's all. Again, my name is Emerson Manaliligamboa from IPED 2A.